This is the Ration Lightweight 30 Days, or the RLW 30. It's a lightweight, calorie-dense ration designed for special forces, mostly for reconnaissance missions. It's also a prototype that was never officially adopted. This is the only one I've ever been able to find, and it's been open at the bottom, but that's okay. The RLW 30 is a ration that consists of dehydrated components, and it can be eaten as is or with minimum preparation. It weighs only 15 ounces and contains 2,100 calories. It comes in 6 different menus. This is menu number 4. It was designed to adequately meet the nutritional needs of a soldier for 30 continuous days of field operations. Each one typically contains anywhere between 50 to 70 grams of protein, 175 to 200 grams of carbohydrates, and about 100 grams of fat. I'm going to go into more detail on this ration as we move along here, but let's give it a look. Again, it's been opened at the bottom. It doesn't smell like anything. Right off the bat, we got beef jerky. This one has damage on the back. There's actually 2 packs of beef jerky. And I think this is the one that's supposed to be in this pack. This one's just a weird extra that was like thrown in July 1986. This ration had official testing initially September and October of '86. Pecan Dessert Bar, or pecan, however you want to pronounce it, just depends on where you're from. Coco Beverage Bar. Everything in this, freeze-dried and compressed food bars primarily, and each one of these had beef jerky in the menus. Again, it had 6 different menus. Look at that. That's in good shape. So is the Pecan Dessert Bar. But this is a little bit rough. The label came off. It's a lemon lime beverage bar. You could eat this just as a bar, or rehydrate in 1/3 of a canteen cup, so 8 ounces. Check that out. It has a pinhole to it. That's kind of a shame. Not exactly sure if I'm going to go for opening this one or save it for display. Look at that. A Life cereal bar. That's an interesting title. Those look fine. Eat as is or rehydrate with water. To rehydrate, you crumble the bar, add a small amount of water, stir to desired consistency. That packaging looks to be okay. Wow. Bacon cheese bread crisp. And that's perfectly fine. And then chicken and rice. Here's your main course. Wow. That looks okay. The vacuum seal is intact. It's not a very big portion. Add 6 ounces. This beef jerky, it should have been a dairy bar. When this was open, either this thing had 2 different beef jerkies in it and it was supposed to just be this style. I've seen stock photos, I'll show you right now. That beef jerky is this right here. It's proper. This one, I don't know where this came from. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it's from an RLW 30, but I think it was taken out of another one and added to this one when it was open. And somebody ate the dairy bar like probably 30 years ago. So there it is. A prototype ration that's essentially like a dodo bird. It was never filmed before, probably never going to be filmed again. It's extremely expensive. I can't even believe I paid as much as I did for this thing, but definitely not going to complain. This is absolutely incredible. Amazing. This is like the odd man out. It doesn't really belong, but the rest of this does. And this could have just been some strange prototype that happened to have double the portion of beef jerky, but I don't think so. So without further ado, alright, so let's get this out onto a tray. Nice. Okay, so we're gonna first start off with that chicken and rice. Look at that, it's just compressed food bars, reducing any excess space, and you can eat them as is or add water. Nice little hiss. There's a slight stale smell to it. That's not a good sign, actually. We'll see how edible it is. So you get 2 bars. Yeah, I don't know how good that is. Even with the vacuum seal, it smells pretty sketchy. Oh wow, yeah, it's pretty crumbly too. It's the kind of thing I almost feel like just leaving in there as you rehydrate it, you know, and clean the packaging out. Let me try a small piece, just as is. Very crumbly. Oh wow, that's stale. Oh, most unfortunate. From the taste alone, I can tell you that's not edible anymore. You see, the problem with something like this, it doesn't have the proper package layering, like say a retort or anything. Like, it doesn't have that metal, the thin metal. It's just the plastic, and that's not good for shelf life. I'm gonna add some water to it. Oh, it's so stale. Just gonna do it up regardless here. Can't really eat it as bar, but we'll just let that kind of rehydrate and do its thing anyway. You know, it's the kind of thing you really hope for the best with something like this, but no big deal. We'll just let that absorb right there. Move over to this Life cereal bar. Interesting name. No hiss. There was some give to it. Also smells very stale. You know, this ration wasn't well stored. It came from Arizona. Wasn't well stored. Not exactly built to last, even though these are freeze-dried components. It's the kind of thing you would expect to, you know, have a little bit of life left in it. No pun intended with these cereal bars. But, oh man, yep, that same kind of smell. Well, I'm here to examine rations, and this is what I do. So we're going to try this out anyway. Oh yeah, old dry milk, stale grain. It's lightly sweetened, extremely bitter. Wow. Oh man. That's leaving that numb film around my mouth. What can you do? I mean, this would have been really nice back in the day when it was still fresh. Good amount of fat and carbohydrates, a little bit of protein. I mean, like nowadays you got the cornflake cereal bars. Those are fantastic. You can still get them in food packet survival, general purpose improved. But these here, they're no good. It's not edible. Well, it might be a little bit edible, but might give you a little bit of a stomach ache, and the nutritional value is very limited, to say the least. All right, beef jerky. See, that's good layering. This is like more efficient packaging, really. Ah, jeez. 32-year-old beef jerky. It smells nice and smoky. I'll give it that. This one I'm going to keep sealed. Look at that. The beef jerky was well received by troops in testing for this ration. That was actually the most liked component. The main courses, they were okay. They found them to be alright. They liked chicken a la king the most. These cereal bars, they were just average rated. The crisp breads, or bread crisp, I mean, that was the hated component of this ration. And the bacon cheese bread crisp was the most liked out of the 6. There were pizza, orange, nacho, bacon and cheese, tamale, and coconut bread crisp. I didn't hear a hiss. That's alright. Smells a little stale and smoky. Yeah, it's kind of a shame so far. Again, not a well-stored ration. And any ration, when not well stored, freeze-dried or not. Oh yeah, that's also rancid. I gotta get a bite of this thing. That's not, oh wait. Oh. That's pretty bad. I mean, it is super rancid. I'm gonna wash it down with some water. Let's check out this Pecan Dessert Bar. It had a nice little hiss to it at least. That smells stale. But look at that thing. It looks so good. It smells so awful. Here, let's get a bite. It all smells the same. I was so excited about this ration too. I mean, this is fascinating. I just kind of hope that Coco Beverage Bar is okay. Alright. No. It was, man. Well. Oh. Like, hold on. It seems like it's going to be so pleasant and nice, but it's not. I wouldn't have guessed it. I mean, this ration is only 32 years old. I've eaten things that were just sitting in a box. Oh, I gotta wash it down in some water. Alright, so let's check out this extremely sketchy beef jerky. I mean, what is that on there? Are those fats? I think it is. Uh-oh. That actually seems fine. Just a really smoky, dry piece of beef jerky. Wow. I mean, this, it's a shame. Oh, it just smells like puke. It really does. Like, okay. Moving on to the Coco Beverage Bar. That's a nice little hiss. Oh, that smells kind of rancid and with a nice chocolate smell. You know, cocoa, chocolate, that'll make anything better. Look at that. That's amazing. That smells a little bit off, but not as bad as the rest of it. The only things that I think are edible, well, I think the beef jerky's edible. May have lost some nutritional value over the years, and then this thing, potentially. No. Oh, it's not edible. Oh man, look at this. I'm not even fully hydrated. I'm just gonna add a little more water anyway, just to say I did. Man, that chicken turned kind of black in one spot. Look at this. It would have been so efficient and fantastic. You could eat it real quick like this. You know, if you didn't have any time to mess around with a main course, eat it dry, and it would have been amazing. But, oh, like, I'm not even gonna bother opening this. I'm gonna keep it sealed. Gosh, I really was hoping this would be okay. I was expecting more from this. I was thinking, you know, it was gonna hold up at least to some degree. They still exist. Natick Food Labs has some of these still in their, you know, archived prototype rations. Here, I'm gonna wash this out and empty it out. This is the kind of ration that it's a privilege to be able to open and look at, and essentially like a ration dissection, you know, examine this thing. It was tested as the sole source of food for 30 continuous days during a Special Forces field training exercise in September to October 1986 at Camp Ethan Allen, Vermont. 18 Special Forces soldiers were assigned to the RLW 30, and there was also another group of 18 that were assigned to a standard MRE. Both groups performed on similar missions. You know, they went through about the same exertion and everything. But the troops who used this RLW 30, they lost 6.3% of their body mass. You know, they lost a lot of weight. Say if they weighed 200 pounds, that's like 12 pounds or something. You know, they also had a reduction in physical performance, and it contributed to minor gastrointestinal issues, nausea and cramps. Not because it was rancid back then, because if you ate this now, you'd definitely be getting some stomachache issues. Back then, they were getting that because they probably weren't drinking enough water. I mean, look at this thing. Like, I really want to just eat this. It looks like freeze-dried ice cream or something. The milk, powders, and fats. That should have been non-dairy creamer. This should have had non-dairy. It should have been a lot of non-dairy, you know, hydrogenated oils instead of actual milk. Anyway, the RLW group lost 6.3% overall in their body mass. Now the MRE group only lost 2.2%. But also 3 MREs in a day provides more calories than just one of these. 2,100 calories opposed to 3,600, and that's the reason. This thing's lightweight though. I mean, 2,100 calories and only 15 ounces. That's amazing. This one here didn't hold up. Not sure if there are any left that did. With that packaging method, the only thing in this that had any kind of promising up the speed packaging was the beef jerky, which it doesn't smell that great. The more I smell it and the more I think about it, the more I feel like this one could be a little bit risky. And of all the things that I've eaten in the last few years now with these reviews, this is some of the most inedible smelling and tasting food I've come across in a long time. An innovative design that could have definitely used some improvements before it was actually adopted. I'm surprised it never was. Could have used some extra preservatives. BHA, BHT, less actual milk powder, adding a non-dairy creamer and supplementing the lack of nutrition that would have provided, or more or less not provided, with some vitamin and mineral additives and potassium. I think they could go back and redo this ration. I think it's worthy enough for another effort. Look at this bacon cheese bar. Just get a good look at that. That's something that we're never going to see again. And this one's stale and completely inedible. And I'm not going to eat any more of that. Okay, I'm just going to get one more bite of this. It tastes like a nice cheese and bacon kind of, a smoky bacon with a cheddar cheese. And then it just follows up with stale. Oh, I gotta follow it up with some hot water. One more thing, this actually came originally in cardboard boxes, and 30 came to a case. So there you go, the ration, lightweight 30 days. This was definitely a fascinating experience, regardless of its lack of being edible, really, or at least lack of palatability. I mean, you could maybe eat this whole thing and not get that sick, but not much nutritional value left to it. Well, anyway, this is Steve 1989. I hope you liked the video, and I'll be coming back at you with something new. Or old. Alright, cool. See ya. And here's a little extra part of this video. Here are all the components replaced back in the packaging. It's about as good as it gets. A couple of nibbles here and there, but I just took a standard chicken and rice from a LRP and put that in this pouch here. Not perfect restoration by any means, but certainly better than just throwing everything out. I also re-glued the labels back on because they were all falling off. This one broke, putting it back in, but no big deal. Not too bad.